You be tripping, so thinking about something different. Just relax a bit, ain't no accidents. It's just all for the
Heaven high, everybody. Welcome. And hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am super excited about the show today. I have some fabulous guests, and I'm just going to jump right in it because all three of them have had amazing spiritual experiences, and I'm sure y'all are going to have a ton of questions. So, can we just start with each of you sharing what your spiritual experience was and how your life changed from then to now? We can go in alphabetical order. Betty?
Hi, family. My name's Betty. I am from Brooklyn, New York, currently dialing in from Silver Bay, New York. I had a near-death-like experience in 2019, transformed my life from an atheist, drug-addicted prostitute into this spiritual experiencer that you see here today.
Wow. Alphabetical order. Danielle?
Yeah, I'm Danielle, or you can call me Elle. I am geographically from Chattanooga, Tennessee, but I am not from here. I used to be super violent, extremely rageful. I was affiliated with a gang. I was in drug addiction, and I actually had an activation about 8 years ago that changed my entire life. I had ancient memories of flood in where I just remembered that I'm not from here, like I was saying. I had a spiritual awakening that led me into this beautiful life that I live today, where it is constantly playing with synchronicities and connecting with source energy all day long.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, J.Clay. By the way, Jay, my opening music, Jay created that music. Go ahead, Jay.
Hey, I'm J.Clay. I'm a spiritual rapper, spiritual teacher. My awakening happened back in 2018. I had been studying A Course in Miracles for a little bit, and I don't know, everything shifted. Like I started to understand the error of my ways, so to speak, and I had somewhat of an ego death, and it changed everything. Like I used to be a regular rapper, not to say that there's anything wrong with that, but I was rapping about like, you know, I'm better than you, or it wasn't all love, it wasn't all peace, all joy, and that's the type of music I make now.
Wow. Okay, so I'll start with you, Jay, real quick. So, you talked about what you were rapping about before. I was listening to one of your songs before we came on, and you were talking about the painter painted the picture, and the painting, the painter saw it as good, but the picture saw something else. And I understand that to mean that God created all of us, and God said it is good, and then we come out and have the audacity to name something bad. Is that what you meant? And were you able to write lyrics like that before your transformation? And what was the moment that the shift happened?
Yes. Okay. So the first part of that, yes, that's exactly what's meant by that. Like God said we're all good, but we think that we know better than God knows, which is crazy because we didn't even create ourselves to even be able to judge ourselves accurately. And we usually do it in comparison to other people when we're all creations. Like, what do we know? You know, if God says we're good, we're good,
We're
and nothing
good.
can change that.
We're
And
good.
yeah,
Yeah, we are.
Go ahead.
and so to the question about when did the shift happen? So okay, it was more like
The moment that everything changed for you.
so the moment that everything's changed is when I really understood how I was bringing my baggage, so to speak, into the present moment. Like right now, we're all peaceful. We're here. We're watching this. We're talking about this, and we're at peace. But if I come on here and say, yeah, this hurts right now, that hurts me, and just bring up all this extra stuff, it clouds how we see the present moment, and it makes us see something different than what's really here, which is peace. And I recognize that about myself. I recognize all the traumas I took on and how I wore them proudly too, like a badge. I carried the stigma like the world owed me something, when really I was kind of blocking myself from all the joys and all the wealth and abundance that was here for me just by clouding it through that same journey. And to answer your question about was I rapping about that before? No, but the way I rap is similar. I mean, the way I write is similar. Like I kind of tune in on a subject and it just flows. So what's interesting is that my intent now is for all love and all, positive purposes. And so now I can tap into that divine wisdom. As before, since it wasn't that, I was still getting wisdom, but it wasn't at the level that it was at now, if
I
that makes sense.
see. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, let me tell y'all, before I move on, we and a few other fabulous people are going to have a retreat for you. So while you're watching, listen, because a lot of what we have learned, we're going to share in amazing ways. And it's so much. Miss Betty.
Yes.
You were on my podcast before, and we talked about your near-death experience. And oh my goodness, please, how can you even sum up in one word what your shift was?
Metamorphosis. I went from being a caterpillar, an earth-dwelling grub covered in mud, to a majestic butterfly.
And so now, for those of you who don't know what she means, because when she says covered in mud, it was a lot going on. Can you explain just a little bit of what you have experienced? Because I find it really fascinating that, like, a lot of people question near-death experiences. Is it real?
Yeah.
Is what you think real? But in your situation, if I remember correctly, you were addicted to heroin, right?
Yes, and methamphetamine and every other drug imaginable.
And after that experience, you were clean. So
Yes.
you couldn't even say, oh, this is all in my mind, because your body told you something different. So can you kind of elaborate a little bit on that before we shift into Danielle's experience?
Yeah. So my life before was trauma. I was born into poverty, raised in a household full of sexual trauma, emotional abuse, physical abuse, became a drug addict at a very young age, born to a drug addicted parents who committed suicide when I was in my early 20s. Trauma. And then I became a traumatized person who maliciously, intentionally traumatized other people. I wanted everybody to hurt as deeply and badly as I hurt. I overdosed in 2019 as an atheist, and I met God in my experience. And God told me that I had to stop using drugs. And I was like, God, you're crazy. I'm not going to do that. And so I just thought that my experience was drug-induced psychosis. In my experience, I was taken through a crazy life review that was so painful because of all the harm that I had caused other people. I was shown my pre-birth plan that I had planned. Every ounce of pain, every ounce of happiness, all of it had been planned throughout my life. And I was shown that I was going to be sent back on a divine mission. I had no choice. I was either be reborn as a baby or go back into this body and step onto the spiritual path. But I didn't think that it was a true experience. I thought that it was drug-induced psychosis. It took me months to figure out that it was a real experience. And that happened when I had this spontaneous healing in the midst of heroin withdrawal. I was completely healed in a bright white flash. And I thought that my mission was to embody Jesus and to go out and lay hands on homeless drug addicts and heal everybody in the world. And then I integrated. I went into rehab. I got clean. I reprogrammed my mind through using A Course in Miracles and the 12 steps and a 12-step program. And my life has become one of service today. So yeah, some people don't think that near-death experiences are true, and that's okay. They don't have to. All I know is that my life used to be one thing, and now it's another thing, and I'm on board with this new thing because it's tits. I love this new life.
Wow, I love it too. Okay, Danielle, what was the moment for you when your shift happened, or can you describe one moment? And all of you tuning in, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them, because we can y'all see the comments over to the side?
I cannot.
Okay. Yay, I love Betty too. So you're getting a lot of love. You're getting a lot of love. Go ahead, Miss Danielle. What was the moment when your shift happened?
Yeah, so my shift was a little different. I also experienced a lot of trauma, a lot of sexual abuse, and then trauma that I caused myself. I became very violent and rageful. What most people would identify as the soul, which we can say is the essence or the energy that is expressing itself through the vessel, was a lot different from the one that I have now. And that's because during that time frame, after coming to a place that I was completely rageful and just uncontrollable, that soul got tired. I had a near death experience. That soul left the body and another soul walked in. So you could imagine it as passing a baton. The other one was exhausted. It was done with the earth school, and it was time for somebody else or something else, a different energy, a different essence to walk into the physical vessel. And so that happened when I was 15. I did not have any memory that that's what had happened or that I was a walk-in soul. So I actually was unable to really deal with the dense energies on earth. I did not know how to understand that it was because I was sensitive, and I did not know how to navigate the earth life. But I didn't realize that's what it was. So I used drugs and alcohol, to cover that up. I was affiliated with a gang, all of those things. And about 8 years ago, on August 21st, 2017, with the solar eclipse that came through, the United States and the South United States especially, I had an activation. And so all of the ancient memories just flooded in. I started to remember things that I too thought I was absolutely nuts for. I started to remember that I wasn't from here, and I started to identify more with the spirit, the soul, the energy instead of the body. I started to commune with nature. I started to sense and see the lights that are bouncing off of people that I now know are auras. I started to have a complete shift in my perspective and in my mind. And at this time, I'm off and on the Appalachian Trail, and I'm hanging out with my other gang members and the people that I would always hang out with. And, that wasn't, that was violence. There were lies, there was manipulation, it wasn't just love and be loved. And all of a sudden, I had these thoughts where it was like, I just need to be loving, and I need to learn how to love others, and I need to learn how to love myself. So that's really where the shift happened for me. And then I just began to move towards that. And in doing so, it completely shifted my entire life. So I identify as a walk-in. The walk-in that did not remember she was a walk-in until 8 years ago, and started to believe that she was absolutely nuts because of seeing the energy and having these memories. And so it took me a while to integrate that and be okay with it.
So
But
when you say that you had an activation, was it something
yeah.
that you did, or was it just something like, did you go visit Betty and y'all meditate, or just something?
I didn't even know Betty then, to be honest. But no, I didn't really do much. It all happened on a subconscious level.
Gotcha.
I believe that it had a lot to do with the celestial alignments, and that solar eclipse, and something unlocked within my being. And I was also given the choice that I could either walk in the light or I could exit the body. And for exiting the body, what I took that as is I could leave. And
Yeah.
so I chose to walk in the light. And in doing that, everything unlocked, the truth came in, and I guess I was initiated really. And I didn't really know what I was being prepared for, getting ready for, but I finally did.
It's interesting in both of your stories with the near death experience. Betty, you said that you had the choice to leave and come back as a baby, or go back and face that pain. And
Hmm.
I wonder if your soul had decided to leave, I wonder if another soul could have walked in, because someone asked, what is a walk-in? And a walk-in is when, like, I am in this body and you know me as Tangi, but if my soul left and Danielle's soul walked in, it's like
Mhm.
your soul putting on another outfit. right?
Yeah, I believed for a while that I was a walk-in because my life was so radically different. But then my perception of that ideology changed for me. And
Okay.
new information was downloaded into me that it was just, it's one energy. So when you think about the oneness of everything, for me, it was more like I was climbing into a higher fractal of myself.
Right.
So, but I totally resonate with the idea of feeling like a totally reborn, one soul walking out, one soul walking in, because that is what transformation feels like. I mean, imagine being a caterpillar crawling around in the dirt and then all of a sudden you're flying in the sky as a butterfly. It's two totally different things.
Yes. 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 Okay. So we've had some questions. Love is Truth wanted to know what is a walk-in. I think we explained that. Mike says, "Hi, Betty. There was no flash of light for me. Had to withdraw the old-fashioned way. Solid 2 weeks of hell."
Yes, Mike, I feel you. I have been through that hell a dozen times in my life before. I know it well. Yes.
And then Mary said, "How did your body feel during this activation?"
I love that. So that was one of the physical signs that I really needed to understand that I was being activated. At first, it felt like everything inside of me was falling apart. Like we kind of touched on, the caterpillar and the butterfly. And so if you could just imagine probably the caterpillar inside the cocoon, that's how I started to feel. I could feel it permeating every piece of me. And I actually remember the night that I felt the biggest wave. And I got goosebumps all over, and I started reaching for water instead of mellow yellow. And I knew that that was the medicine that I needed. Now, I've had many more activations since then, and they are nothing compared to that. They've gotten a lot easier. So I think it also just is different for everybody, but that's something that I love to hear about, and I love to understand, and I love to listen to other people's and their experiences too with different activations. But
now, Jay, I know you haven't had a near-death experience, but have you had any experiences that felt like you had an activation? I haven't
Yes.
had any. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had tons of like spiritual experiences that shifted me. One in particular, just talking to Danielle about, was a dream that I had not too long ago, where to say this in a quick way, it was almost like I was going to a hell, so to speak, but then I was able to climb out of it, take on with me over to the other side of the gate, and then I woke up and I went to the bathroom, looked in the mirror, and I was like, wow, I look old, but it wasn't me. It was an older Black woman that I had never seen before. And the things that Danielle just helped me realize too, and others, was in my dream state, I'm helping ushering souls to the other side. And that's kind of mirrored of some other things that happen too, but it's wild to think of something like that is bestowed onto me. Like I'm honored to be a part of it. It's wild about.
You say it's wild, and I say, why not you? Why not you? I mean, even listening to all of your stories, it's like God, or some people might call him, her, it, them, they, source, or the universe, or ancestors, or Jehovah, or Jesus, or whatever. I don't know, whatever y'all decide to call them. That's not for me to decide, but can use and does use any and everybody. So what now? What now are you, how are you utilizing what you learned through these experiences?
Yeah, so how I'm utilizing it is I'm big on understanding the how and the why, like why things are how they are, why we act a certain way, why we behave a certain way. And a lot of it comes through our thoughts, which in our thoughts are based on the beliefs that we currently hold. Yet a lot of these beliefs came through childhood, or someone told us, we believe them, but we haven't really checked to see if they're true, or even if they suit us in the way that we want them to. And so by us carrying these thoughts, we see the world through the eyes of these beliefs, which lead us to maybe see someone who could potentially be a loved one as an enemy, someone to see danger, or just always be in the defense mode when you can be relaxed and at peace. And I use music as a tool to help shape that, because I try to infuse the spiritual wisdom with it so that you really understand what's going on, and in such a way that you can just jam it all day and it plays in your head like an affirmation. And so even you don't know that you're healing and that you're uniting yourself within, but then you look up like, oh, my life is better. My life is more peaceful. And that's how I like to use it.
Yes. And I noticed too how once we all have these experiences, everybody's more loving. We're more in tune with nature. I love that a few of you have talked about your pre-birth plan, which is another confirmation. Like, it's all confirmation and just confirming and soothing to me, because imagine, y'all, if there's something that you're going through right now, whatever that something is, you charted that. That was part of your pre-birth plan for your soul's growth. And if it gets too bad, that power can give you a near-death experience and then knock some life into you. I've spoken to many people who have had near-death experiences, and the commonalities and the differences, it's pretty amazing to me. My little near-death experience, you remember hear my little near-death experience? I don't think I had this when I talked to y'all before. I was wearing skates in the house and I kept almost falling. Almost falling. And I didn't take them off because I was like, I don't fall. My angels got me. And when I walked outside, I stepped down on the porch and I started to fall. And from here to here, time stopped and it started to go in slow motion. And then I saw myself fall and I saw my head hit the ground, boom. And I saw my skull just burst open and blood was everywhere. And then I saw my kids come out and see me like that. And from there to there in that fall, I had time to tuck. And so when I hit bottom first, boom, and then my head. But my problem was I wasn't grounded in my body. Before that, I wasn't grounded. And I was so happy. It was a wonderful life. I couldn't even see any negativity. So I wasn't really giving this human experience everything that I owed it. So it was probably about 6 months after that when I was hurting and I was at the doctor for maybe the 4th time, and I looked in the mirror and it hit me. Maybe this was my activation. And I was like, I'm grounded in this body. But the interesting thing is, after I was grounded, then the pain hit. So it didn't go from grounded to, it went from grounded to, it seemed like things hurt all of a sudden. Like I was like, I don't like this human thing. And then I was able to apply some of the things that I'm going to be teaching on the retreat. And now I can have joy in the midst of the storm. Let me see. Let me go back and read some of these comments. Okay. Betty. H7 Opolo says, Betty knows how to speak deliberately, and you do. Was that a gift that you received after your transformation, or did you have that gift before?
I don't know if it's a gift or a curse, but it's something that I've just always done. I've never been a person who bullshits. I've always been as authentic as I could possibly be. Even when I was a drug addict, I was very open about being a drug addict. I mean, maybe I was confused about the reasons why I was using. You know, like I thought that it was because I'm so fun and I love a party, but really it was because I was masking a lot of pain. I wasn't necessarily lying to myself. I wasn't even aware enough to know that that was what was going on. But I do believe that we're here for a reason, and I don't see any reason to waste time being inauthentic. Because it's not even real. Like who cares? It's not even real. You might as well just be your truest self, warts and all.
I love that. I love that. There's no reason to be inauthentic, y'all. Okay, let's see. Thurman says, interested to hear about your experiences with flashbacks. hearing a lot about total transformation from old to new. What do you do in between, in the in between space, when you're moving forward, but your brain keeps flashing you back to the past? Now, is that for Betty, Danielle, Jay? Which one? Who wants to answer that? Because that's interesting. What happens in the middle?
Yeah, it sounds like to me that a lot of those things, as we continue to transition and transform, a lot of those layers of ourselves and aspects of ourselves need to come up so we can become aware of them, so we can look at them, so we can learn from them, so they can be released. But we can't really just go like, there are miracles where, and there was a miracle with me in my NDE where a lot of things just kind of disappeared, but I still today have things that I didn't even knew were memories. I had one come up last night with the 1111 portal, and it came in. I was like, I didn't even know that that was real or that that even happened, but it was time for me to see it. So it was considered a flashback, but it all depends on what, with our free will, what we're choosing to do with them. Like, do
Yeah.
we want to hold on to them? Because we can, but that's not going to be super helpful. And a lot of us are not going to be able to as we continue to ascend and get higher in frequency as the shift continues to happen. We're not going to be able to. We're going to have this force of having to see these things so we can look at them. We can integrate whatever lesson it is so we can let it dissolve and leave. But that doesn't always mean that the memory or the flashback itself is going to disappear. It means that the attachments that we have to them are going to be let go and dissolved.
That's beautiful. I'm over it. Y'all got me feeling good. I feel like together, all of us are like a delicious pot.
Yes.
All of it mixes together because I was hearing Betty, then I heard you, and then I heard Jay's music. Because basically, we're going to experience hard times, but they don't have to be hard.
No.
They don't have to be hard. We can have peace in the midst of the storm. We can know that the painter painted a beautiful picture, and whatever this is happening is so we can recognize it and release and let it go. And we can be authentic like Betty. And we have to be authentic because a lot of times people try to do this manifestation and they really feeling funky, but they're saying, I'm great, I'm great, I'm great. And the body is like, you not. So you have to be authentic. So it's a little bit of everybody. Okay, let me see. Okay, so Cinnamon Girl wants to know, what was it like leaving a gang? Did you reconnect with some of them?
Leaving a gang?
Yes. And
I'm sorry, I thought it said game. I was like, that's Betty. She's all in the simulation. A gang. Well, to be honest, I got to the point where this voice was talking to me. It was telling me that I had to go back down to Chattanooga and I had to leave the woods and I had to get clean and I had to do all of these other things. And I had asked for signs and I finally got a physical sign with the feather. And I was like, okay, I'm going to trust it because you don't really get out of a gang. And so that was one of the reasons that I had always continued to believe in what they were doing and stayed in it, because at one point I felt like there was no out, and so I just kind of trusted and I went back to Chattanooga where I had been affiliated the most. And I just started going about the spiritual way of life and doing things to be better and to help others. And I think that it had a lot to do with jumping a timeline, because I never got any rap from anybody or anybody that I used to associate within it. Instead, I got encouragement, which I knew was a God shot for me. Like, I knew that was God, because that's not what that's not what and that's not part of the plan. That's not what happens. That's not part of the order of things. And so it's been 7.5 years now since I came back down to Chat. Well, I'm in New York now, but since I went back down to Chattanooga, and I haven't gotten any negative consequences from it. Instead, I've just been empowered, but I've also used it. I think that what was so important is that I used the story to help others in service. Also, like Betty was talking about how she's in service to others. So I think that's what's so important. Like, I'm not using it for ego. I'm not saying, like, I don't even want to half the time identify with it, to be honest. But I know that I've got to bring up that shadow and that past for others, because I know there's a lot of people that would love to do that, especially in this awakening. Can you imagine being in a gang and in prison and you have an awakening? They're like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. Like, you know? So,
Yes, yes. Wow.
mhm.
And it made me think about what do they say? Like attracts like
Yes.
started putting out new energy,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know, and I love that you said the timeline switched.
Oh my gosh.
Because if you come in there with joy, you
Mhm.
know, you just let it go. Okay, let me see. Here we go. Thank you, Mary. I love the energy you bring. Yes, I am excited. Oh, okay. So we H7 Apollo had a near-death experience too.
Mm.
Mike says, how detailed do you think pre-life planning is? Like
Mm.
every little thing or just the big moments?
Yeah,
That's a
I don't think that we've planned every bowel movement in our lives or every meal that we'll eat, but I do think that we've planned the major plot points in our life.
Mhm.
So you planned your spouses, your children, the location where you'll live. You picked your parents, you picked the family line that you'd be born into. You picked your challenges, you picked parts of your purpose, the things that you'd be passionate about. Those things are all predetermined. And the good news is there's no way to fuck it up. Okay. What's meant for you will always find its way to you. I think the issue that happens with free will is that we get in our own way a lot. And so you
Mm.
can deter yourself from reaching a new level, a new plot point by, having fear, by living inauthentically, by
Not
not
coming on our
asking the promise.
retreat.
Right. Right.
That's the biggest one.
Yes, yes, yes. So when you have an opportunity to sit, like
Yes.
this is great. We're all here on live, and there are more of us. But imagine being able to sit there. I would hope
Mm.
we're on the ground, real grass. But
Mhm.
imagine to be able to sit with all of us and touch all of us. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be amazing.
The way
It's
the
gonna be
energies are going to
absolutely
merge.
yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes. Now talking about our experiences, the like my children, I knew when it was time for them to come, it washed over me. Um when my daughter told me that she wasn't going to come right now, and then she came back. When I met my children's father, it was like that's my baby daddy. I didn't even say
Mm.
I said that's my baby daddy. It's like, so I feel like there have been moments where it's like that voice. That's what I wanted to talk about. A lot of us have spoken about a voice. I
Mm.
wonder, maybe we'll share this at the retreat. What exercises or tools would you suggest for the people so that they can learn how to listen to that voice? Because that voice guides us. It
Mhm.
really does. Once like, and I think the voice will never tell you to run from something because the voice is not afraid. It'll lead you where you need to go. Do this, do
Mm.
that. Okay, let me see. Let me read the questions and y'all pick one. How do you learn to be authentic, Betty? I think that's for you. And Royale says, J.Clay, I had the dream about being old. Instead, it was all a dream for me, even the look in the mirror. And I saw me so old, but no hell, I was here on earth. Help me. J.Clay, I had the dream about being old. Instead, it was all a dream for me. Even the look in the mirror and saw me old, but no hell, I was here. Oh, you were on earth when you saw the dream where you looked in the mirror. So you were dreaming that you were on earth and you looked in the mirror and you saw yourself looking old. I think that's what she's saying. Okay, let me see what else we have. And Mary says, currently going through that lesson right now, getting out of my way. So I was prescribed rest by my spiritual therapist, and I'm getting there. Thanks for the confirmation, Betty. Thank you, Betty. And thank you for reminding all of us because oftentimes we feel like we shouldn't be resting. And I believe one of you said it, how we're born and we're free. Was it you, Jay? Where we're born and we're free and you know, we go ahead, hit it.
Yeah, I always believe that we're born perfect. Like we're free, we have that joy, we're moving around, but then somewhere along the way we are believing these things other people tell us, and we hold on to this. We hold on to these false beliefs, these half truths, and we start to live by them. We start to live our life by them, and we say things like, well, I'm the type of person that always does this, you know, this always happens. We speak in absolutes as if things can't be changed, and then we forget who we are. And the cool thing about these shifts and this awakening, it's like you get to be the adult, the kid in you want it to be, and you get to do it unapologetically. You get to be free to explore and play and have fun, meet the people you want to have fun with. Like, hey, can you come outside and play today? And just be that kid, but with the authority of an adult to just taken care of and everything. And it's beautiful.
Yes. Y'all come so you can skip with Betty. You think we can get Betty to skip?
Yes, we can. We've been
We've
doing
been
it for
skipping
the
this
past
whole.
few days.
We're on a retreat right now. We've been skipping the whole time.
Exactly.
I want to comment on this question about how do you learn to be authentic. Well, you come to our retreat in Tulum, March 22nd through March 27th, and we'll teach you. No, but really, to be authentic is just to let go of everything that is not part of your divinity. So, like, what are you scared of? You know, write down your limiting beliefs. Name the belief. Where did that belief come from? I guarantee you, it more than likely is not your belief. So, like a belief that, you know, like I have to stay small. I shouldn't be loud. I should be quiet. That's not my belief. That's society's belief. That's been deeply ingrained in women for centuries to just stay quiet and be small. So I have to call in my receipts. How do I know this isn't true? Well, there was this time and this time and this time in my life when I did speak up, and it actually worked out for me in a great way. I got the raise, I got the promotion, I met the guy, I got a puppy, whatever the situation is. And then I have to affirm a new belief system. It's safe for me to be myself. My spirit protects me all along the way. And that's really one of the best ways to dial into your authenticity. Find your limiting beliefs and rewire them.
And did you hear what she said too? Because when you pick something out, you don't want to leave a void, because weed can get filled in. So she said, put an affirmation or something, fill it up with something, right? Yeah, I love that. I love that. Question for you, ladies. Oftentimes, like I have dreams. Spirits come to me in dreams, and they're always happy. My visions, they having a good time. My baby girl who is stillborn, she good, right? So when people come to me and they're sad because somebody died, I have to breathe, because I'm not sad because the person died. I'm sad because they're no longer with the person, but I know they can still contact the person. So it's a little convoluted, because I'm like, hallelujah, they're free from that body that could no longer hold it. You know, they're living better than we are. So to the three of you, can you describe what it felt like to be on the other side, or how you would imagine death to be? Or if someone comes to you and says, oh, I'm so sad because my cousin got in a car accident and he died.
Yeah, I'll share on this. So grief is an absolutely necessary part of the human experience. Yes, we are spirits. Yes, our loved ones are always with us, but we're human right now, okay? And we became human because we wanted to experience human things, and grief is one of those things. So we don't want to spiritually bypass or be telling, you know, I never want to weaponize the idea of pre-birth planning or spiritual knowledge, because it's not for everybody. If you need the information is going to find you. I can hold you in a vision of like, wow, this is beautiful. Like, you know, when people tell me if somebody dies, I'm like, damn, you got a new angel. That's awesome. In my head, I say that. I don't affirm that to a person who's in the middle of grief, right? Like they need to go through their grief process. So I just do the regular human shit. I'll make you food. I'll bring it to your house. I'll sit there on the phone while you cry. I'll come and hug you. I think that this is like
human shit. Go ahead.
Yes, the human shit. Yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Danielle?
Yeah. This is a great question. I just walked my mom and helped her transition into the spirit world 5 months ago. And then I just helped
Mm.
my granny transition into the spirit world 2 weeks ago, yesterday.
Ooh.
So I've got to experience what grief really is, what it looks like. And I do know that the reason that we grieve is because we feel like, for us, and because we feel like we've lost someone. So there's been a lot of coexisting emotions for me because of my spiritual beliefs and my spiritual practices. And at first, I felt like they were warring with each other, they were battling with each other inside of me, because I was like, I'm having a lot of feelings, but like, why am I having these feelings if I know that
Yes,
energy
yes,
cannot be destroyed and I know that
yes,
they haven't actually disappeared? So I really had to take a step back, and I think that that's the alchemical reaction that happened, is that I have to hold space for the human experience and the spiritual experience. I still understand that they, they're with me. I have dreams, all the time. I can sense them all the time. They play songs all the time. Like, I know that, but there's still this part of me that misses them, like in the physical reality. Although I'd rather them be where they're not suffering and they're happy. And I know that they are because I can see them. I can see that for them. So I love that it's been touched on, like that whole spiritual bypassing has been extremely important for me. But I will say that, like, I have been able to use this grief. Like, I just walked through fire. I have been on fire. There is still fire at my feet, but I can see that the alchemical reaction of that fire turning my new becoming, who I am becoming and who I am, into gold.
yeah,
Whatever it needs to be for character development and the evolution of my own soul. And it's really also given me the opportunity to step up and be somebody that I never thought that I could be. And I wouldn't have been able to be those things without those experiences. And I know how to help other people with the experience because I've experienced it. So it's
yeah,
so important. Like, it'd be easier if we're all in our light bodies and we don't really have to, deal with the contrast, but that's not where we're at. So we don't want to avoid it. We've got to look at it. We've got to see it for what it is. And then we got to learn how to love it and accept it and allow it to be with us.
yes.
Mhm.
J.Clay?
Yeah, so I'm the okay, let me say this. For my shift, I was one who I was shy away from, like, conversations about grief, or someone had something happen that was deep. I went away from it because I don't know what to say. I'm the type of person. But after the shift, like, I'm the person that I'm always gonna hold you at your highest. I'm gonna see
Mhm.
you, treat you like you at your highest, whether you're grieving or not. And what I like to provide for people is just that reminder, because I know sometimes it's easy to get lost in grief. But also, I understand that I don't know everything, and I remove myself out of the equation by tapping into the Holy Spirit, to God, to higher consciousness, and say, "Okay, I'm here to be helpful. What is it that I should say to this person?" And I tap
Mhm.
into spirit, and sometimes they give me something to say. Sometimes they just say, "Quiet, just be here," and it's different every time. So I don't have like a predetermined way to maybe even suggest to deal with grief, but I just know by tapping into the higher power, I can help someone
Mhm.
maybe usher it in easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. When you were talking about seeing them in their highest, I was thinking that's what Jesus did. That's how he healed.
Mhm.
That's how healers heal. They see it and they believe it, and then you believe it, and then you heal your body.
Mhm.
But for me, when my mother was sick, she prayed to be healed or to receive the ultimate healing.
Mhm.
And she got the ultimate healing. And so I usually, if they, like you, I tap in, and see what comes through me. And if they're open, I'll share that. And I'm usually excited for the person that has passed on.
Mhm.
Especially if I'm talking to a Christian person that has been living their whole life trying to go to heaven when they die. And, I'm like, well, look, now they're there. How can you be sad? They want you to be happy. And then I see what I feel, but I do tell them that I understand. Because when my mother passed, I was like, I didn't even have a funeral. I was like, she's around me, don't you see? And so when after about 2 weeks, I was out on my front porch and I was screaming at her, how dare you leave me? And literally my soul jumped out my body and it looked at me like, what is your problem? You pray for her to go, stop it. But it was like, who is that? I was like, who is this? What are you doing? And then I have an old phone and I used to pick up the phone and talk to her on the phone like she could talk. And now I talk to her all the time. Okay, let me see. Let me read what y'all are saying. Y'all are awesome with your questions. La Rosa, yes, girl, yes. No, La Rosa, is that a girl? Guy's picture. But the cute girl's name, but that's a man. Ain't that a man? I have my eyes on.
Rosa, he's a cool guy.
Yeah, I thought so, but okay. La Rosa, I like your name, La Rosa. I want to meet you. No flirting if you're married. I just really like your name. La Rosa says, I'm excited for the retreat. Gonna grab my spot before the weekends. Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
See you in Tulum.
Yes. And the website is going right now. wearethewill.com. Love is Truth said, Betty, when you said spirit, the light behind you got brighter. Yes, I expect those type of moments on the retreat too. Okay, let's see. Love is Truth said, rest in peace. Yes, that is a good thing to say. Mind Body Brianna says, thank you. Sometimes I get scared. I will invalidate people by seeing things from a higher perspective. I think trust that still small voice, because oftentimes we're scared because who said it, of what we've been taught we're not supposed to do. But that voice tells you to say this and you're not allowing yourself to be used because you're trying to do the right thing when spirit wanted you to do something else. So I'm glad you're being bold and brave. Love is Truth 888. My soulmate and best friend died 3 years ago and his birthday was Monday. What's his name? We can tell him happy birthday. He sends me signs all the time. He would not want me sad. That's the last thing he would ever want. Yes, I agree. Mike says life is no way to treat an animal. Okay. All right. Okay. Sublimate the pain. Okay. Grief is love. Preserving this is an affirmation how I rewired my brain to process loss. Thanks, Marvel. Funny enough. Okay. And you don't learn to be authentic. You are authentic. Okay. I like all of those things. I like them all. His name was Matthew. Happy birthday, Matthew.
Happy birthday, Matthew.
Thank you for your mission, Matthew.
See, we're loving you on this side. Okay, I have a question. Here you go. So y'all have had these spiritual awakenings. Some people are in the middle of their funk. They haven't had a spiritual awakening. Some people aren't even open to spiritual awakenings. How would you guide these people? How would you utilize? What about people who say they don't even believe in near-death experiences? What about people who say rap? That I don't want to listen to no rap. How would you help someone like that? It's 6:48. We get off at 7 o'clock. If y'all want us to come back on again, we can. Just let us know. But tell me, so what would you do? How would you handle that?
All right, I'll go. So first, with love, I got to fill my heart with love. I gotta tap to the Holy Spirit to get more guidance, like I'm doing now. And one of the ways that I like to get people to do it is to have them really see their thoughts, because oftentimes we think thoughts are just something we have that we can't control, that is us. Like we think every thought is us, not realizing that thoughts change, they come and go. We may be seeing someone else's thoughts go by and that we don't always have to listen to them. And one of the ways I like to kind of ease people into that gently is the no complaint challenge. So like for 7 days, don't utter any complaints. Try not to think them, try not to say them, speak them. And what happens is you're turning your attention to your thoughts and you realize, I am displeased a lot. I do say a lot of complaints. And then when you don't say them, you realize that you don't have to comment on everything. You don't have to react to everything. And you see how much easier life is getting. You see how much freeing and open you feel because you're not adding this extra layer to it. And that's just the first step, but that's one of the ways to ease people into it.
I love that. And you know what? Not complaining, you're also creating at the same time because good stuff is coming out. And think about, okay, who's next? Who's next? Who's next?
Yeah, I think that like the biggest thing for me is just leading by example and just living how I live and allowing people to see that and then not allowing whatever perspective or reactions they have to really affect my state, you know, and as people continue to see that, they're attracted to that and to that energy and it immediately like it doesn't after a period of time gradually they're going to start asking questions because we can't come in here and we can't force anybody to do it. You know, we can't make anybody have a spiritual awakening. We can't control what anybody else does or thinks or how they act. So the best thing that we can do if they are being presented to us in our reality, there's a reason for that. So the best thing that we can do is live as authentically as it's been mentioned as we can and you know live to our truth so that they are able to see that, you know.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, I think that we don't all have to believe the same thing. We don't have to all be on the same path. I'm not here to preach or teach or proselytize to anybody. I'm a walking miracle. I'm proof that transformation exists. And I just all I have to do is just shine my light. I used to think that I had to change the world, that I was going to craft this one carefully constructed sentence that was going to change everybody's mind about everything that they've ever believed. But that's not what I'm here to do. I'm just here to be myself. Some people have different missions. This is my particular mission. And I think that if you're in the middle of the funk right now, my number one tool is reach out to someone else. It can be one of us. It can be a therapist. It can be, if you call 988, it can be a stranger on the street. Connect with another human being. When we first became human, we were in tribes of people so that we wouldn't get eaten by tigers. Okay, nothing has changed. The tigers have just changed. Now the tigers are fearful thoughts, low self-esteem, depression, anxiety, addictions. But we need other people to keep us safe from ourselves. Really, like I need other people to lift me up. If I'm by myself, I'm in bad company. I'm the person who got me into the mess in the first place. So we have a community. You can go to wearethewheel.com. We host free weekly virtual sharing groups 3 times a week. We have in-person communities in Houston, New York City, Denver, and Chattanooga. And we're growing and expanding. If you're a person who wants to start a spiritual community, come on and talk to us. Like, let us help you start a community in your area. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. Thank you.
You are not alone. Well, get back on it one more time, please. And tell everyone when the retreat is, where the retreat is.
Yes, guys, we are going to Tulum, Mexico, Paradise, Spiritual Disneyland, March 22nd through March 27th. We're going to have an in-house chef curating all of your meals. Your lodging is all taken care of. We're going to have 7 amazing spiritual teachers. We have Reiki masters, angel readers, we have happiness guides, identity refiners, law of attraction, shadow work coaches, sound alchemists. This is going to be an incredible experience. There's going to be so much healing and we're going to have time for fun. We're going to throw all of our worries into the ocean. We're going to skip and frolic and have so much fun together. And we're really looking forward to seeing each and every one of you there.
We really are. Okay, so in closing, we have 6 minutes. So my last question. With everything that's going on in the world right now, on the physical plane, I mean, you go through Instagram and people are fussing and complaining and they're talking, oh, it's horrible, and then the groceries and the price and the rent and all that stuff, right? How do you handle that being spiritually aware?
Hmm.
Or because how do you handle that being spiritually aware? Or what advice would you give to someone that's in the middle of that funk? Like, I'm working this job and they only pay $6 an hour and it's not enough. And then the president done took my. What advice do you have for them? And we got 5 minutes, so each of you can have one.
Okay, I'll start. I just want to, and this is something that my mentor said to me recently. I diminish my ability to be of service to others by taking on the suffering of 8 billion people. I cannot change the world. I cannot change your direct circumstance. But I do know that complaints are affirmations of victimhood. And like, I'm totally guilty of this. I complain all the time. And if life seems challenging right now, alchemize it. Use that energy to do something good for yourself. Think outside the box. Get a side hustle, get a little side hoe, like make your money that way. And, reach out to other people. How do you do it? How do you welcome in abundance? How do you step out of poverty? Like, I'm a person who grew up very impoverished. I'm well aware of those two frequencies. And it's very painful to be impoverished. It's painful to feel like you're a victim to the system. So break out of the system. And if you need help doing that, feel free to reach out to me.
wearethewheel.com. Okay, Danielle.
Yeah, I don't really have those kind of things come up in my algorithm anymore. So I'm not seeing it personally, but I do know a lot of people that are affected by it. And then of course, if something happens that does like personally affect me, it takes a minute for me to process, but that's why we have other people. We have a great community. Something that I do for others is I hold space for them to process it, to have their feelings about it. And then I meet them with love. I think that the world is in the dark. It's dark night of the soul right now, and that after all of these things, no matter how long it takes for the process,
Yes.
there's going to be an awakening as a consequence of what we're going through. There's going to be so much awareness brought
Yes.
into the field that people are, and I know that a lot of people are supposed to be triggered by it. A lot of the shadows are supposed to be seen right now so the light can rise up. So there are times where it does really bother me, and I can't be okay to help other people if I stay in it long. So I have to process it and then move on, because like it's been mentioned, I can't control any of it. Like, I can be the change that I'm seeking, though. That's what I can do. I can think globally and act locally, and what would anybody on the other side of the world, no matter who they are, what do they need? They don't need me to come in and say, you're wrong, you're wrong. They need me to hold space and say, I love you. And maybe both things can be true. Or like, let's look at this together.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. And Jay.
Yeah, I would say don't underestimate your role as a creator. As I changed myself, those around me changed. And like Betty said about shining light, when you shine your light, when you focus on your well-being, it's like you light up the dark parts around those around you so they can see truly. Or they're walking around in the dark, but as you cut on your light, you shine past all of that, and they're seeing like, oh, they're seeing themselves truly, and you will be guided to have that better. You will be guided to all the things you need to do that you can shine your light as well and help others through that darkness. And it's really that simple. You are a creator. You are loved by the master creator.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. And we got 1 minute. Let me see. Love is True says nature and fresh air can do miracles too. Yes, I like to touch a tree, take my feet, have my feet out. The four of you are amazing. This was amazing. I came in a little late, but was able to catch the majority of it. Just beautiful. And you can watch a rerun. Type the retreat information. You see it at the bottom, wearethewheel.com. First heard Betty on the podcast. Loved her ever since. Appreciate every one of you. Thank you for your warm energy, Tangie. Thank you for sharing, Danielle. Thank you for your joy. You're being cool, J.Clay. Yes. Oh, Betty typed it. There it is. It's right there. March 22nd and March 27th. Yes, this is such synchronicity in my life right now, releasing the desire to help everyone and understand that the best thing I can do is stay in high vibration and not take on other people's pain. Angela, don't worry, girl. You missed it, but you would have loved it. And you have to meet these people. You will love them too. We will see y'all next week. Blessings to everyone. And just because J.Clay is here and because I love it, I'm going to play my intro one more time.
I know today, no matter what is happening, things will all go my way. I see heaven and I don't have to wait for you to recognize that love resides in this place. Why not listen ahead? Why you making that face? You be tripping, so think about something different. Why you making just relax with it? Ain't no accidents. It's just all for the love.
Heaven high, everybody. Welcome. Love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Have a good night, y'all. Thank you. You're awesome.
Bye.